My mom disowned me in front of everyone. But what I did after that is something she never saw coming. My name is Elenor, and I am 26 years old. Before that day, I believed family was the one place where love could never be taken away. I was wrong. That morning started like any other public family event. Everyone was dressed nicely, smiling for photos, pretending we were perfect. I remember adjusting my clothes, already feeling out of place, like I didn't fully belong even before anything happened. My parents had barely spoken to me on the drive there, but I told myself it was just stress. I always made excuses for them. I always protected them in my mind. We stood among relatives, family, friends, and strangers who only knew our last name and reputation. I stayed quiet, watching conversations happen without me. My mom moved through the crowd with confidence, laughing loudly, shaking hands, playing her role perfectly. I remember thinking how powerful she looked, how untouchable. Then everything stopped. My mom raised her voice, not angry, not shaking, calm and controlled. When she said my name, the air felt heavy. I looked up, expecting a simple comment or a harmless joke. Instead, she looked at me like I was already gone. She said I was no longer her daughter. At first, I didn't understand the words. My mind refused to accept them. I waited for someone to laugh. I waited for my dad to step in and stop her. That never happened. My mom continued speaking, listing my mistakes like evidence in a courtroom. She talked about my choices, my independence, how I refused to live the life she planned for me. Every sentence felt rehearsed. Every word felt final. People stared at me. Some looked uncomfortable. Some looked curious. No one defended me. I felt my face burn. My hands shook. My heart beat so fast I thought I might collapse right there. I wanted to disappear, but my legs wouldn't move. I stood frozen while my mother erased me in front of everyone. My dad stood beside her in silence. That silence hurt more than her words. It told me everything I needed to know. This wasn't just her decision. This was theirs. I felt small, exposed, stripped of my name and my place in the family. Years of obedience, love, and loyalty meant nothing in that moment. When she finally stopped talking, the room felt colder. Conversations didn't resume. No one knew what to do. I felt like a ghost standing among the living. I didn't cry. I couldn't. The shock locked everything inside me. I simply nodded, turned around, and walked away. Each step felt unreal, like I was leaving my own body behind. That was the day my mother disowned me in public. That was the moment my old life ended. Not quietly, not privately, but in front of the world. And as I walked away, I had no idea that losing my family would one day become the beginning of my freedom. After that day, my life went completely silent. My phone felt heavier in my hands, even though it never rang. No missed calls. No messages. No angry texts. No worried questions. Just nothing. That silence hurt more than any argument ever could. Told me I was not worth fighting for. At first, I kept checking my screen like an addict. Every vibration made my heart jump. Every notification that wasn't my family felt like another rejection. Days passed. Then weeks. Still nothing. That was when reality started to sink in. I wasn't just disowned in public. I was erased afterward. Family group chats disappeared. My photos vanished from social media. I watched my existence slowly get deleted like I had never been born. It felt cruel how easy it was for them to move on. I started questioning myself. I replayed my entire life late at night, staring at the ceiling. I asked myself what I did wrong. I wondered if I had been too loud, too different, too ambitious. I blamed myself because that's what I was taught to do. Then one night everything changed. I was cleaning my email inbox, trying to distract myself from the loneliness. That's when I saw it. An old message buried deep years back. The subject line had my name in it. I almost didn't open it, but something inside me needed the truth. The email was from my mom, sent to a relative. She wasn't careful with her words. She didn't know I would ever see it. She wrote about me like I was a problem to manage, not a daughter to protect. She called me a failure. She said I embarrassed the family. She said keeping distance from me was necessary. I felt sick reading it. My hands shook so badly I had to sit down. My chest felt tight like I couldn't breathe. Every sentence rewrote my memories. Moments I thought were misunderstandings suddenly made sense. The cold looks. The fake support. The constant pressure to be someone else. That email proved something painful. The public disowning wasn't a sudden emotional reaction. It was planned. They had already discussed it. Already decided I didn't fit into the version of family they wanted to present to the world. My removal was damage control. I trusted my parents blindly. I defended them even when they hurt me. I believed love meant obedience. And that belief destroyed me. That night I cried harder than I ever had before. Not just because I lost my family, but because I finally saw them clearly. I wasn't ungrateful. I wasn't rebellious. I wasn't broken. I was inconvenient. And once I understood that, something inside me shifted. The pain didn't disappear, but the confusion did. I stopped begging for answers. I stopped hoping for apologies. Because betrayal hurts the most when it comes from the people who taught you what love was supposed to look like. That was the moment I stopped waiting to be chosen. And that was the moment I started choosing myself. After I understood the truth, something inside me went quiet. I didn't confront my parents. I didn't send long messages explaining my pain. I didn't ask for closure. I realized they already knew what they did. Silence wasn't confusion anymore, it was a decision. And I decided to answer it with my own silence. I started preparing to leave my old life without telling anyone. I packed my apartment slowly, like I was handling fragile evidence from a crime scene. Every item carried a memory. Old photos where I was smiling next to people who no longer claimed me. Birthday cards signed with love that now felt fake. Childhood keepsakes my mom once said she saved forever. I hesitated before throwing things away. My hands shook. Part of me felt guilty, like I was betraying them by letting go. Then I remembered how easily they let go of me. So I kept going. I boxed up my past and removed it from my future. I deleted family contacts from my phone one by one. Each name felt like cutting a thread that once held me together. I erased group chats. I wiped my social media clean. I didn't post a goodbye. I didn't announce my pain. I disappeared quietly. Changing my number felt like changing my skin. For the first time, I wasn't reachable. No one could suddenly decide to pull me back in. No one could watch my life from a distance and judge it. I became unreachable on purpose. Nights were the hardest. I would sit alone, listening to the silence, feeling the weight of everything I lost. Some nights I cried until my chest hurt. Other nights I felt completely numb. There were moments I almost picked up my phone just to hear a familiar voice. But I never did. Because I knew one call would put me back in the same place, small, apologetic, and begging to belong. During the day I turned pain into routine. I worked longer hours. I focused on surviving. Not thriving, surviving. I learned how to sit alone in cafes without feeling embarrassed. I learned how to celebrate small wins quietly. I learned how to comfort myself. There was no one clapping for me. No one checking in. No one proud of how far I was pushing myself. But for the first time in my life, I wasn't performing for approval. I wasn't trying to prove I was good enough for my parents. I was trying to prove I could stand on my own. I stopped using my last name. It felt heavy, like something that didn't belong to me anymore. I introduced myself simply as Elenor. No explanation. No history. The loneliness didn't disappear. But something stronger grew underneath it. Self-respect. I realized walking away wasn't weakness. It was the first boundary I had ever truly set. I chose myself when no one else would. My family disowned me loudly. I reclaimed myself quietly. And in that silence I began rebuilding a life no one could take away from me again. Time passed in a strange way after I disappeared. Days felt long, but years moved fast. Somewhere along the way, survival slowly turned into stability. Then stability turned into confidence. I didn't notice the change at first. I was too busy building. I built my life quietly without posting about it, without asking anyone to notice. I focused on my work. I learned new skills. I failed, fixed my mistakes, and kept going. Every small success felt personal, like a secret victory only I knew about. For the first time, my life felt like it belonged to me. I had my own routines. Peaceful mornings. Evenings where I wasn't scared of being judged. I made decisions without asking for permission. No one told me I was doing it wrong. No one moved the goalposts. Then, just when I felt fully invisible to my past, it found me again. It started small. An unknown number called my phone. I didn't answer. Then another one. Then a message from a cousin I hadn't spoken to in years. The tone was casual, almost friendly, like nothing bad had ever happened. "Hey, how have you been?" I stared at the screen for a long time. My hands didn't shake this time. My heart didn't race. I felt distant. More messages followed. Old relatives suddenly remembering my existence. People who watched me get erased now acting curious. Then I saw something that stopped me cold. A screenshot. My mom was asking about me. She was telling people she was worried. That she missed me. That she didn't know where I was or how I was doing. Reading those words felt unreal, like they were written about someone else. The same woman who disowned me in public was now searching for me in private. The timing wasn't accidental. By then my life had changed. Word travels fast in families, even when you're gone. They heard I was doing well. That I was stable. That I didn't fall apart like they expected. That was the part that hurt the most. They didn't come looking for me when I was broken. They didn't check on me when I was alone. They reached out when I no longer needed them. I realized something important in that moment. They didn't miss me. They missed access to me. I didn't reply to a single message. Not out of anger. Not out of fear. Out of clarity. Silence had once been used to punish me. Now I used it to protect myself. I didn't know anyone updates. I didn't know explanations. I didn't know forgiveness. Every unanswered message felt like taking my power back. I let them sit with the same uncertainty I once lived in. I let them wonder who I had become without them. My revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't cruel. It didn't require confrontation. It was living well without inviting them to watch. And for the first time I understood something deeply. The life I built in their absence was stronger than anything I could have built trying to please them. They never expected me to rise quietly. But I did. I never planned to see my mom again. In my mind that chapter was closed, sealed with silence and distance. I didn't fantasize about confrontations or dramatic reunions. I didn't rehearse speeches. I had already said everything that mattered by walking away. But life has a way of testing the strength you think you've built. I saw her on an ordinary afternoon. I was standing outside my workplace when I felt a presence too familiar to ignore. I turned and there she was. Older. Smaller. Less certain. The confidence she once carried like armor was gone. For a second my body reacted before my mind did. My chest tightened. Old memories rushed in. But then something surprising happened. I stayed calm. She said my name like it still belonged to her. She told me she had been worried. She said time had changed her. She said she didn't know how things went so wrong. I listened quietly. No interruptions. No anger. No tears. I noticed what she didn't say. There was no apology. No accountability. Just regret wrapped in excuses and time. Just enough softness to open a door. Not enough honesty to fix what was broken. Years ago I would have folded. I would have explained myself, defended my choices, tried to earn love that should have been unconditional. That version of me was standing right behind my eyes, watching. But I wasn't her anymore. I realized something powerful in that moment. I didn't need her to understand my pain for it to be real. I didn't need her approval to validate my life. I didn't need closure from someone who never protected me. So when I finally spoke, my voice didn't shake. I said one sentence. I accepted being disowned the day you did it. Her face changed. She didn't expect that. She expected anger. Tears. A conversation she could control. She didn't expect peace. I didn't wait for her response. I didn't explain further. I didn't reopen wounds that had already healed into scars. I turned around and walked away. Each step felt solid. Grounded. Final. That was emotional justice. Not revenge fueled by hate. Not winning an argument. Not proving I was right. It was choosing myself again. Calmly, confidently, without needing permission. My parents took my identity from me in public. They tried to define my worth through rejection. But in losing them, I found something they never gave me. Freedom. I no longer carry their expectations. I no longer fear their judgment. I no longer need their love to survive. Being erased forced me to rebuild from nothing. And in that emptiness, I discovered who I truly was. I am Elenor. I am 26 years old. And I am no longer waiting to be chosen. I chose myself. And that is the kind of ending no one can take away from me.